Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Podcast Network. And of course, as always, you can listen to the podcast network live on Spreaker.com. And also, you can listen to the podcast on Stitcher.com, iHeartRadio.com, and TuneIn.com. So, again, great commentary. We have some play-by-play and blow-by-blow action. We have some interviews and just some commentary that we have every week right here on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network, and also some live boxing. Hope you had a chance to listen to Juan Marshall and my call on the Jetta Promotions card at Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland, back on Friday, August 2nd. Hope you had a chance to listen to that. If not, it is archived, and you listen to it anytime for free on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. We have some big information this week. We're going to recap a little bit more about the Jetta Promotions card. We're going to talk about some big wins for Beltway boxers over the past week. We're going to talk about another amateur boxer doing great things in the Beltway. Also, we're going to tell you that another Beltway boxer will have another title shot coming up in the very near future. And also at near the end of the podcast, we're going to put on my pro wrestling hat, as I often do, and pay tribute to one of the great pro wrestlers of all time who passed away this past week. Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network is brought to you as always by Real Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. And I've got to say something real quick before we continue. I'm actually kind of laid up a little bit. I have a ulcerated big toe. I'm a diabetic, and the toe was giving me some problems. And also I had itching up my right ankle. And I put on some Real Time. I have not itched at all today. My pain is down completely. And Real Time, I'm telling you firsthand, it works. No question about that. So again, Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. Also, it's brought to you by DeborahSpears.com. She has great weight loss tips, great jewelry, and also great training methods that she's talking about now on her site. So you go to Deborah. That's DEBRA Spears.com. Now, before we get to the card that took place at Jetta Promotions card at Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland, I got to talk about a big win for another Beltway boxer. Upper Marlboro, Maryland heavyweight Mike Silverback Balogun. He won an 8-round unanimous decision over Ed Fountain of St. Louis, Missouri. That was on August 1st at the Convention Center in Monroeville, Pennsylvania. Balogun won the bout. This was his first 8-round bout. Excuse me. He won the bout by scores of 77-74 twice and 78-73. He remains undefeated. He's 14-0, 10 KOs. He's starting to face some guys who have some good records. Balogun's undefeated. He's 14-0, 10 KOs. But Ed Fountain came in. He has a record now of 12-6, 5 KOs. So he's not fighting none competition, so to speak. He is really fighting some really good competition. Fountain has had his last 3 opponents come up and have undefeated records going against him. So good win for Mike Balogun on the road and his first 8-round contest. So congratulations to Mike Silverback Balogun. Now we can talk about the card at Live Casino in Hanover, Maryland. A good card. I mean, not as good as this one back at Jetta Promotions card they had at on August 18th of last year. That was the card of the year in the Beltway, but it's still a very good card. And, you know, Tony Jetta, he likes to kid a little bit. He likes to say he's not doing it like Keystone Boxing did their promotions. He's not fighting in small places. He's got a big location. He's got apparently a very good deal with Live Casino, which is great. They're going back there in October. So we'll see what happens there. But truth be told, he is using the same formula that Keystone Boxing used to move Beltway boxers along. Keystone Boxing, of course, had Jarrett Hurd and Mike Reed and Patrick Harris and the Fox brothers and so many other boxers that they've had over their career as a promoter. Now it's different boxers with Jetta. It's guys like Ibrahim Jawara, it's Malik Lofton, AJ Williams, Dante Cox, Brandon Chambers. He's using those guys and trying to move them along very similarly to how Keystone did their work. So you can talk about Keystone. The difference, basically the biggest difference is that, quite frankly, Jeter has a better place to do his boxing. And that's the biggest difference. It's a big difference. It's a nice difference, but that's the only difference, really. Otherwise, it's basically the same format, and it's a good format. It's working for him. Unfortunately, one of the boxers that Jeter may not be able to move along much longer is the man that was in the main event this past Friday night at Live Casino. That was Luther Lights Out Smith, the cruiserweight out of Bowie, Maryland. He lost an 8-round unanimous decision to Steven Superman Bouger of New York City by way of Albania. That was in the main event of the card. The first 2 rounds, they were both feeling each other out, but then Bouger started taking control. Smith's output started to decrease. And Smith would stay in the contest. He would switch from southpaw, which is a natural stance, to conventional. He was pretty successful there, but Bouger would land the more telling blows. He'd go into the victory. Judges Dave Braslow, John Gradowski scored about 78-74. Brent Bovell scored about 77-75. Bouger had not fought since October 2017, but he won this bout. Smith falls to 12-5, 10 KOs. Bouger's record rises to 17-2-1, 11 KOs. And again, I love Luther Smith. He's a great guy. He's had a nice story. He took on this boxing game a little bit late in life. He did all combat sports. He did that. He did MMA a little bit, kickboxing. And he really took it on late in life. And I don't think he has too much more to go as far as being a viable contender in the cruiserweight division. Now, he dropped from heavyweight division. That was after he lost to Mike Balogun. He dropped the cruiserweight and was successful at first, but now as he's going up in competition, it's been very tough for him. So, be a tough road to hoe for him, no question about that. So we'll see. We're gonna go just kind of breeze through it. We did go through with our post-fight rev-up show on the live broadcast last week. But a couple of highlights on here. First of all, the great return of the King's son, Jerry Oldham, out of Bowie, Maryland. He won a second-round TKO over Tahir Thomas of Salisbury, Maryland. Oldham had only had 1 bout since November 2016. We learned through an interview with Jerry Oldham that he had appendicitis. And that was a tough road for him. So it was really tough. And I know he had some issues with his promotional group at the time. But he not competed in the Beltway since April 2014, but he came back and sent a wicked right hand to Thomas's head, dropped him to the canvas. Brent Bovell, the referee, called the bout off at 2:10 of the second round. So good win for Jerry Oldham. He's now 16-3-1, 15 KOs. Thomas, who competed for the first time since January 2017, he falls to 4-2-1, 3 KOs. Good win for Jordan Short Dog White. Scored a TKO at 134 of the 4th round. White fought very, very well, landed 2 solid left hands that dropped him, and then he swarmed him, and David Braslow, the referee, stopped the contest. White is now 9-1, 7 KOs. Jennings 6-9-2, 4 KOs. Best fight of the night, no question about it. Ibrahima Jawara. Now, I like this kid a lot. Ibrahima Jawara out of Germantown, Maryland. He's a super featherweight. He really fought very, very well. And quite frankly, he should be 3-0 right now, in all honesty. He really should be. I believe he won the bout against Malik Lofton on the August 18th card at Live Casino. I really believe Jawara should have gotten the victory on that one. He's come back. He won another bout, and he came back here against a little bit more experienced fighter at Mark the Monster Johns out of Fort Washington, Maryland. And also, Jawara fought 6 rounds for the first time after only 2 previous pro bouts. And really, in the first 2 rounds, he did very well, but he got knocked down in the 3rd round. Johns caught him with a strong left hand. But he came back and really outfought Johns the rest of the way. He really did. And he gained advantage in the second half of the bout. And he won the bout by scores of 58-55. Dave Braslow and Eric Irizarry scored about 58-55. Bill Clancy scored about 57-56. So Jawara with a great win. He's got a nice future. I mean, he really does. I think he'll be one of the guys back in October at Live Casino. But I think he's got a good future. I mean, I liked him in the amateurs. I was really impressed by him in the Golden Gloves. And I really think he's going to be a good boxer going forward. So nice win for Jawara. He's now 2-1, 1 KO. Johns, who has not fought since 2017, March of 2017, it showed a little bit. He's now 7-2-2 with 6 KOs. Suitland, Maryland, super featherweight. He's now known as the ambitious one, Malik Lofton. He won a dominant 4-round unanimous decision over Carl's talented Morrell of Bridgeport, Connecticut. But Lofton, he's on. he fights very, very well. And again, I thought he lost against Chihuahua, but really he's fought very well in all three of those bouts. And he fought very well against Morrell on Friday night. He was in complete control. He started his attack landing jabs to Morrell's body. He went straight to the body from the opening bell of that bout. Very nice. Lofton tried to land the right hand over the top. He couldn't consistently land that shot, so he may have to work on that. But Lofton did more than enough to easily win the bout. All three judges, Brent Bovell, Bill Clancy, Eric Azari, scored about 40-36. Lofton is 3-1, 1 KO. Morrell falls to 1-3-1. Super middleweight AJ We Are Williams of Cockeysville, Maryland, won a 4-round unanimous decision over Brock Willis of Clarksburg, West Virginia. He fought well, used his height very well, and won bout by solid rights and lefts to Willis's head and body. He won by shutout across the board, 40-36. Williams is 2-1, 1 KO. Willis 1-4, 1 KO. Also, a good win for the Red Comet, Dante Cox, who's from Elk Ridge, Maryland. Of course, he is an employee, as we've said many times, of Live Casino. And he was very effective in the first and second rounds. He landed great punches to the head and body. Second round, Cox increased the output offensively, battered Smith with uppercuts. Hakeem Smith of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He battered Smith with uppercuts and right hands to the face. In the second round, the Smith corner decided not to send their boxer out for the third round. So Cox bounced back from his loss to Devontae Speed Rawls at the Live Casino. He's now 4-1, 3 KOs. Smith is 1-3-1. Cockeysville, Maryland lightweight Brandon Brody Chambers, who is a Baltimore City police officer, won by TKO over Fred Lightning and Thunder Thornton of Shelby, North Carolina. That was at 1:16 of the second round. He weakened Thornton in the first round with consistent shots, consistent pressure. He stepped up his attack in the second round, and Chambers was able to find his distance, throw right hands, stun Thornton before referee Bill Clancy stopped the contest. Chambers is now a winner for the first time. He's 1-0-1, 1 KO. Thornton is 0-2. And in the opening bout of the contest, champ Preacher Man Moultrie of Ellicott City, Maryland, he's a welterweight. He lost his pro debut to Corey the Thoroughbred Weekly of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Moultrie did not have any offense at all in his bout, and his punches had no effect. Weekly was able to land quality shots, eventually landing a strong combination. In the final minute of the third round, Weekly dropped Moultrie with a strong right hand, and that caused Brent Bovell to stop the bout, 2:29 in the third round. Weekly wins his first bout. He's 1-2, 1 KO. So again, a good card, definitely a very good card actually, by Tony and Christian Jeter, and the matchmaker was Nick Tiberi. Had a chance to talk to him a little bit. Very nice. And it was a good card overall. So we'll see what happens in October when Jeter Promotions come back there. So again, good wins for Beltway boxing. And again, he's moving some nice talent up the ranks in his promotion. Congratulations to Tony and Christian Jeter. No question about that. Meanwhile, also on August 2nd, actually on August 3rd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, two Beltway boxers got good wins. Cobia the Soldier Breedy, he's the featherweight out of Hyattsville, Maryland, by way of Barbados. He obtained the biggest win of his career. And so far, he's captured a 10-round unanimous decision over Ryan Lee Stone Allen of Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, the scores, I believe, was 77-73, and they both two judges had 77-73. One judge had it 79-71. And it was Breedy's first 10-round bout and his first win outside of the Beltway. So he really made a nice move here. He fought a guy with a good record. He fought 10 rounds for the first round, went 10 rounds for the first time, and he went on a road trip and scored his first bout on the Beltway, so outside the Beltway. So really, really nice win for Cobia the Soldier Breedy. He remains undefeated. He's 14-0, 4 KOs. Allen is 10-4-1, 5 KOs. So really, really nice win for Cobia the Soldier Breedy. Also, welterweight, the next big thing, Keeshawn Williams of District Heights, Maryland. He made short work of Mario, Alberto Perez Navarro of San Felipe, Baja California, Mexico. Scored a first-round knockout. Williams, then a strong straight left hand to drop Navarro. I had a chance to see highlights of this, and the bout was immediately stopped at 2 minutes of the round. So Williams remains undefeated. He's 6-0-1, 2 KOs. Navarro falls to 5-4-2 with 2 KOs. So that was the card at Live Casino, Hanover, Maryland. And really solid card and good performances by a lot of our Beltway boxers on that Jeter Promotions card. Meanwhile, in the amateurs, Alexander, Virginia lightweight welterweight Keeshawn Davis. He scored a He won a silver medal at the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru. Davis did lose his championship bout by a 4-1 decision to Andy Cruz of Cuba. That was on Friday, August the 2nd. Davis's Alexandria teammate Troy Izey captured a bronze medal at the same event. So, again, these guys, these are right now, definitely, in my opinion, the two best amateurs in the Beltway right now. No question about that. They have gone overseas. They've won bouts overseas. They've picked up medals, and they've been very, very good. And we'll see what happens when they do decide to turn pro. And of course, the Olympics still on their radar, 2020, and we'll see, especially how USA boxing, boxing overall in the world situation, how that comes about. So we'll see what happens there. It's some, let's just say there's some very, very interesting situations going on with world boxing. I don't think it's under the auspices of AIBA anymore. I think there's something different. I have to check into that and get back to you on that one. But it's crazy. They're just crazy. So again, a good win. Again, Keeshawn Davis, just outstanding boxer. He's won a number of bouts overseas. Isley is the same. He just hasn't stepped up to the really big events that he's been in and really gotten the big wins. But he's still medaling. He's still growing. And he's got some ways to go. But a really good win for him. In fact, Team USA had their best performance at the Pan American Games since 1983. They won 10 medals overall. One of them was gold. That was O'Shea Davis, the female boxer. Also, they had 4 silver and 5 bronze. So great performance overall for Team USA at the Pan American Games in Lima, Peru. Now, as we said, there's another Beltway boxer that's scheduled to have a title shot coming out. I should say, in this particular case, it's a rematch. Now, we talked about last week, we talked about Lamont Roach Jr. getting a title shot against Jamel Simplify Herring for the WBO Super Featherweight Championship. That bout is scheduled for November 9th. Again, no word on where that bout is going to take place. But the other one that's coming up will be on Saturday, December 14th. It'll be Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And that'll be Swift Jared Hurd, the former WBA, IBF, IBO Super Welterweight Champion. He will have an opportunity to get those titles back when he has a rematch against the new champion, Julian J. Rock Williams, at Barclays Center. Once again, the date is Saturday, December the 14th. Now, the first bout between these two guys, again, we were there at Eagle Bank Arena. It was one of the best bouts of the year. No question about it. That took place on May 11th in Fairfax, Virginia. Hurd lost his titles by unanimous decision to Williams on that card. Hurd is 23-1, 16 KOs. Williams is 27-1-1 with 16 KOs. Now, if and when the bout takes place, and again, I don't see any reason why it won't take place on December 14th, it'll be the first bout for Hurd without his longtime trainer, Ernesto Rodriguez. They parted ways after the bout, and officially they parted ways in June, but there were a lot of rumblings after the bout. I heard Jared Hurd's father, Fred Hurd, talking about there's going to be some changes made, and there's some issues after the bout. Again, I just think for the first time, the game plan that the Hurd camp had just didn't work. I mean, that's simple. And they had no plan B. It was very similar to when Gary Russell Jr. lost to Vasily Lomachenko, his only loss. And I think the primary reason, other than the fact that there were some issues with strength and conditioning, according to the Russell family, but I think the main reason why he lost that bout, because he had no plan B. Once plan A didn't work, using his speed leading to the power, once that didn't work for him, he really did not have a plan B, and I think it hurt him in that bout against Vasily Lomachenko a few years ago. And I think Hurd had the same situation against Julian Williams in Fairfax. I think they had no plan B. They just thought they were going to take Williams' best shot, and then Williams would break down in the later rounds. Well, that didn't happen. That's simple. It just didn't happen. And Williams fought a fantastic bout, and it's going to be interesting to see the rematch. Again, it's closer to Williams' hometown. Philadelphia is only about a couple hours away from New York, so he'll have probably more of the home ring advantage against Jared Hurd. The Jared Hurd crowd does travel, though. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens coming up on Saturday, December 14th at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. Jared Hurd goes after try to get the title back against Julian J. Rock Williams. Before we get to our tribute, a couple of things. We're going to be pretty light in the Beltway in August. Only a couple of amateur situations, some big ones though. The Mayor's Cup, I believe, is scheduled for Tuesday, August 20th, at the Bald Eagle Gym at Headbangers Gym in Southwest Washington D.C. I believe that's August 20th. We'll try to get back to you on that one. And on August 31st, the annual Ceasefire Don't Smoke the Brothers and Sisters event takes place at the Upshur Recreation Gym in Northwest Washington. Of course, our very good friend and a long-time Beltway boxing supporter. Before it was fashionable, he was a supporter. That's Malik Farrakhan. Malik Farrakhan will have his annual Ceasefire Don't Smoke the Brothers and Sisters cookout. It's a free cookout, free food, and also a great amateur boxing show that'll take place there. That'll be on August the 31st at the Upshur Recreation Center. But no pro situation. We don't have a pro card again until Saturday, September 14th, and that's the card of the Michael & Son Sportsplex in Sterling, Virginia, which is supposed to be the swan song for Tori Shonuff Nelson, her final bout as a pro on that card. So that's our next pro card that I know of. Will be Saturday, September 14th at the Michael & Son Sportsplex. Now, as I often do, I put on my pro wrestling hat and I pay tribute to one of the great pro wrestlers of bygone days. And this man was incredible. Many people consider him to be the greatest wrestler on God's green earth. And he was a remarkable and one of the toughest guys, if not the toughest wrestler, maybe in wrestling history. I don't know. His name was Harley Race. And Harley Race was one of those guys like Dusty Rhodes was for a while and some other ones that I knew about at first through the magazines that were available at that time. The Wrestler, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Inside Wrestling, so many other, Wrestling World, so many other wrestling magazines that were very popular at that time period before the internet took hold and the wrestling itself changed. What was called kayfabe back in the day disappeared, and there was really no reason for a lot of those magazines. Only Pro Wrestling Illustrated has survived that now. But be that as it may, again, Harley Race is one of the ones I had heard about through the magazines. He was he has spanned a number of generations, which I find very interesting. Many people in the American Wrestling Association, or the AWA, remember him in a great tag team with another guy who just passed away not too long ago, I believe, and that was Larry the Axe Hennig. Back in those days, however, they were known as Pretty Boy Larry Hennig and Handsome Harley Race, and they had blonde hair, and they were big, tough guys back in the AWA, and this was, I guess, in the early to mid 60s. And they would have some memorable feuds, including one magnificent feud with the Crusher and Dick the Bruiser. That was a tough team. They were a tougher looking team at least than Handsome Harley Race and Pretty Boy Larry Hennig. And Crusher and Bruiser did not like Hennig and Race. In fact, they called them the Dolly Sisters. That's what they used to be known as back in the day. And they had some great feuds. I know Race and Hennig won the 80-weight tag team title a number of times, I think 4 or 5 times as tag team champions. But Race really made his mark in the NWA wrestling territory, including a number of territories. I mean, he wrestled because he was the world champion for much of that time. He was it all depends who you talk to. Some people say he was a 7-time world champion. I've heard he was an 8-time world champion. Tell you, I don't know where the 8th heavyweight champion came from. I'm not sure where that one was. But the last time he won a championship that I remember was when he beat Ric Flair for the title. To win it 7 times, as he said, 7 times around. But Harley Race was the quintessential world champion. I mean, he was the one that really put a worldwide mark on the championship. He would literally go all over the world. He wrestled. He was very big in Japan, very big in South America, and he would do that. And he set the standard for the rest of the world champions to follow. He had great feuds with Jack Briscoe, the Funk Brothers, Dorian Terry Funk. He had great ones, a magnificent one with Dusty Rhodes. And, of course, he had feud with Ric Flair. And he wanted to basically pass the torch on to Ric Flair, which is what he did on Thanksgiving night in 1983 when Race lost to Flair at Starrcade 83 inside a cage. He was great. I mean, just a great wrestler. He put really nice promos together. There's a promo I know I put on my Facebook page. It's one of the best promos I've heard. It's basically called, and I hate to use this language, but it was actually called, everybody calls it a take the damn money promo. That's what they call it. And he had Race had put out a bounty on Ric Flair. Ric Flair was a good guy this time. And he had put a bounty on Flair of $25,000 to anybody who would take Flair out and put him in the hospital and what have you. Well, turns out that Dick Slater and Bob Orton Jr., later known as Cowboy Bob Orton, actually did injure Flair, hurt his neck, and they collected a $25,000 bounty, and that basically led to Starrcade 83. But it was a great promo, and again, another one of those examples of wrestlers talking folks into the building. I mean, the Greensboro Coliseum was sold out. Tremendous. It's a great card too. It's a wonderful card, one of the best cards I've ever seen. You can see it on the WWE Network. Another great bout was Rick Steamboat and late Jay Youngblood taking on Sergeant Slaughter and Don Canodal took on Jack and Jerry Briscoe. For the NWA World Tag Team titles, and Steamboat and Youngblood win the title for the 5th time. So, just great wrestling action there. Tell you, I've been reliving that on the WWE Network over the last few weeks. But anyway, Harley Race was fantastic, and again, 7-time or 8-time world champion. He was a great wrestler in the end of the way. And then, late in his career, he would move to the WWE, WWF at that time, and I don't know whether it was a rib or whether or not they did it out of respect for Harley Race. I hope they did it out of respect for Harley Race. But it made him the king of wrestling. He won I believe the first ever King of the Ring tournament. And they had a big coronation. He would go on as the king. He would wrestle Hulk Hogan. He had a very memorable match against Junkyard Dog at WrestleMania 3 in 1987. And again, he was just fantastic. He really was. For a guy his age at that time, he was still taking some of the bumps he did as a younger man, and really just a good wrestler to watch. No question about it. Really was. And so after he retired pretty much after that last WWE run, and he founded his own training academy. He trained a number of great wrestlers over the years, and he's just done so much for the business. He was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004. And that was a great class because that was Jesse Ventura, Bobby the Brain Heenan was in that class. Pete Rose was the celebrity inductee that year. Junkyard Dog was in that class. So that's just some of the wrestlers that were in the 2004 class. Great class, no question about that. But it was, Harley Race during his induction speech. Greg Valentine was part of that class too. But Harley Race in that speech, and Ric Flair inducted him, by the way. But Harley Race in that speech said there was no better feeling than being under those bright lights as a wrestler. And it was the greatest sport on God's green earth. That's what he said. And he was just a great wrestler, great ambassador for the sport. Really another wrestler of a bygone age that I don't know if we'll see that age ever again. I don't know. There is a new league that's coming up in not the future. In fact, they are having their TV debut coming up in Washington at Capital One Arena. It's All Elite Wrestling. That's the federation that's run by Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes' son, and also run by the Young Bucks, and actually owned and founded by the Khan family, who own the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars. And they've done a couple pay-per-views. Got one coming up in August, but they also will have, as I said, their TV debut on TNT on October 2nd, which I believe is a Thursday. No, I take it back. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday night, and it'll be on TNT. It'll emanate from Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. I'm hoping to be able to cover it for the Washington Informer. I've already written something about it, and I've heard it's been sent to the AEW people, and so hopefully I can get some tickets in there or a press pass to try and cover that event on October 2nd. So hopefully they're saying they're a little bit more of an old school type feel. We'll see what happens. No question about that. But again, a tribute to a great wrestler, great professional wrestler by the name of Harley Race, and rest in peace, the champion Harley Race. Well, that will do it for another edition of Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on Beltway Podcast Network. And don't forget, Boxing on Beltway Podcast and the the Beltway Boxing News and Notes, brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com, great weight loss tips and great jewelry and great training methods as well on Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Digital25, and also don't forget to go visit the Boxing on Beltway blog for Best Buy and Amazon deals you can't get anywhere else right here on the Boxing on Beltway, boxingonbeltway.blogspot.com. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams, reminding you as always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.